Can we get Sam in here? I want to do the Carrie thing from Larry King before we move on to today's new material, because this thing is great.
Running down the hall. Hold on, look at his feet.
And this audio has legs, and we had it yesterday, but we just never got to because we were so busy. So we should play it today.
I watched it last night. Holy shit.
I don't know how to say her last name.
Prejean?
Prejean?
Cunt's probably accurate.
Prejean?
Prejean.
What's the backstory on Carrie Prejean?
Well, she was in the pageant Miss USA, Miss America, whatever it was.
Yeah,
I believe she was the one who Perez Hilton asked how she felt on gay marriage.
Right.
And
she
then
answered honestly and said she wasn't, she didn't like it.
It wasn't her thing.
It wasn't her thing. And then she was hung out to dry.
Yeah.
For saying that, which
by
is
Perez
ridiculous
Hilton.
in America, where you should have an opinion on things.
And then more recently, there were reports of a solo sex tape that she may have made for a boyfriend when she was 17.
Oh, and where is this available?
I do not believe it's available
it.
because she's underage.
Yes.
And
you know, you could have sex at 17, but you cannot take pictures at 17. Isn't that amazing? And yes, and you cannot show someone that's 17 any type of nudity or pornography photograph. But again, some iced tea and cookies. Nope.
All right, so what do we got on her? So then supposedly there might be a sex tape of her pleasuring herself.
right, and so she's got all these court cases. I think at one point she sued the pageant, and then they settled. And there's a court case about the sex tape. So Larry King had her on the show.
I'm sure he asked just some hard-hitting questions.
Because she wrote a book, and she's promoting the book, but she wouldn't answer any questions about anything that anybody cares about because she said everything. She just credited everything to being in litigation, so she couldn't talk about that. She couldn't talk about this. And Larry King ended up getting really annoyed at her.
Well, he didn't start off he started off with a reasonable question.
Yes.
He's like, well, I'm not asking you what you settled for. I think he probably was told she won't talk about the settlement. So he must have known that beforehand.
Did we get the old Larry King? Because Larry used to be a really good interviewer.
Well, he wasn't. It's hard to say because the question he asked.
Yeah.
It was probably one that anybody would have asked. Like, he said, "What
Do you like stew?"
That was actually it, but she couldn't talk about it as she's in litigation with Dinty Moore because she alleged that what's in her underpants looks like Dinty Moore stew. Yeah, he asked her what motivated you to settle, and she said, "I can't talk about that."
Let's listen to this shit. All right, and so it got a little ugly too there, huh?
Yes, it was very awkward.
How hateable is she in this? I was totally loving
really?
Larry King.
She came off as
She
hateable.
is just shit.
Yes.
Let's get to an embarrassing part for you and how you handle it. You recently confirmed that when you were 17, you made what you call a private video, a sexual tape that you sent to your boyfriend. Have you seen the video?
You know, I don't think that's the important issue, Larry. I think that, you know, there's a video out there of me that I sent to my boyfriend at the time. And it was for private use, but does that justify my actions? No. And I take complete responsibility for the decisions that I made when I was a teenager. But I think that the biggest thing is that you own up to it, you take responsibility, and you just move forward.
Did you own up to it? Did you let the Miss California or the Miss USA pageant know about that video?
You know, I think that people need to be reminded that I was not fired for any video, for any photos. I was fired for, I guess, supposed contract violations, not making appearances, and I guess being hard to work with.
Nervous titter.
Did she not seem like an absolute cunt? Because she wouldn't answer the question. It's like, did you see it or not?
Right.
Don't tell him what's appropriate. You were doing an interview.
Answer the question.
And then she wouldn't answer whether she showed the pageant people or not.
No.
So it's 2 questions asked and 0
Yeah,
answers.
she stinks, this bitch.
Yeah, let's keep track of how many questions she doesn't answer.
Yes.
Yeah, but the question was, did you inform them? Because they have a morals clause in their contract.
Right, but I was not. I was not
did you ever
fired
tell
for.
them about the tape?
I was not fired for a morals clause, Larry. If you look back, you will see that they fired me solely for contract violations for missing appearances. So this has absolutely nothing to do with why I was fired. But people would like to accuse me of that.
Wow, she did.
No, she didn't answer.
That is any fucking interrogator will tell you that is a sure sign that someone's fucking like being deceptive
Or just not, or uncomfortable and doesn't want to go any further.
Exactly. That.
3 questions, none answered, by the way.
Would you like to play poker against her, Aunt?
Oh, yeah. All right, she's, wow, she's raising. All right, I called. Right, dummy. What a dolt.
All right.
Fuck her and her shitter.
One of the things, by the way, do you plan any legal action to block the video from being made public? Because you were underage when it was made.
Oh.
You know, everything that was discussed, Larry, in mediation is completely confidential, and it seems as though I'm the only one holding up to that contract. So if that's the case, then I will stand by that contract and abide by it.
Answer me.
Did you get a settlement, though?
That's completely confidential. There was a confidential mediation, and I don't think that needs to be discussed right now.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions.
We'll be right
have
back.
been answered immediately.
Wow, Larry sounds
So she hasn't
very
answered one.
annoyed.
What's the use of having her there? She hasn't answered one question. What are you doing an interview for?
She wrote a book about herself.
Who gives a fuck about her,
Yeah,
her
who gives a
life?
flying fuck.
But she won't talk about anything interesting about herself.
Please tell me this ends with Larry just going, get out.
Please go.
Leave.
Get out. Leave
Live.
right now.
Live.
Live. Live.
Live.
Live.
You sued the pageant after they fired you. They countersued. And then you accused them of a number of things, including religious discrimination. Clearly an issue very important to you. Why did you settle? You don't have to tell me the terms of the settlement, but
You know
why
what,
settle
Larry?
since you had a fight to carry on?
Larry, everything that was discussed in mediation, I'll say it again, is completely confidential. I'm not going to be able to talk about that. So I'm just letting you know that ahead of time.
She is.
See, you can't even say why you settled?
Yeah.
That's not, how does that break what you settled for? I'm not asking you what the settlement was.
Confidential
I'm asking you,
agreement.
why did you agree to settle?
It's a confidential agreement, and I am not allowed to talk about
No,
that.
you can, you dumb fuck.
What
So the
motivated you?
agreement discusses the motive behind why each party agreed?
Larry, you're being inappropriate. You really are. So I'm
What?
not going to talk about.
I'm asking a question.
God bless Larry.
I'm asking a question, you cunt.
His face was great. He goes, what? Like,
Yeah.
he just has this
You're being
confused,
inappropriate.
like-
She's an idiot because he's asking her what her mental, like in her mind, why did she settle? If it's such an important issue to her, why not play it out in court and instead of settling, get your point out there and whatever. You don't have to tell what the settlement is or anything, and then just say, well, I believed that I would have been in litigation for a long time or something. Just anything. She can talk about that.
She can say, look, I just wanted it to be over.
Yeah, yeah.
But then again, the motivation might have been, my case was not that strong, and they threw a lot of money at me.
Exactly.
I don't know, but that sounds like a great motivation.
Let's go to Larry King, an exclusive for our show. Larry.
Mr. Cumia,
Yes.
how are you today?
Hello. Good.
How deep into your rectum did you settle for the dildo?
I don't think there's any dildo in her rectum video.
Larry.
I don't know what that video
We got
is.
the real Larry King right
Larry's
here. Larry.
on,
Yes, when you made the sex tape, how did you get the reel developed?
The real.
Or is this the real Larry King? I'm not sure now. Larry.
When you made the sex tape, what did you do with the groceries?
That's the real Larry. Okay.
Oh, there,
we
Larry.
figured it out.
She is pretty.
You are the real Larry.
She is hot.
Wow.
You know something? I'm kind of thinking I'm
you know
seeing her
what?
side a little more now.
Larry.
I'm kind of seeing her side. Larry's being
Whoa, not hot
inappropriate.
when she fucking turns her head, though.
Larry's being inappropriate.
Oh,
You really think so?
She is fucking. I really hope she just falls face first on a lawnmower. She stinks.
Yeah, let's continue with this.
Really are. So I'm not going to talk about.
I'm asking a question.
I'm not going to talk about anything that was discussed in mediation. It's completely confidential, and it was a confidential settlement.
All I'm asking, all right. So what you're saying is, in mediation, it was discussed why you were mediating.
Larry, it's completely
discussed.
confidential, and you're being inappropriate.
Okay.
Okay? So
All
you're
right.
being
Inappropriate King Live continues.
God bless you, Larry.
Wow, Larry actually
Fucking
has
Larry
some wit.
woke up.
Yeah, but you're right. He should have thrown her out. He should have said, you know what? This is gonna. Nobody wants to hear about what it's like to be pretty. Get off my show. You know how much people would have loved Larry if he said, "Get off my show."
Yeah.
I don't know why they have to follow like some kind of ethics or something. Why can't Larry just go, why are you here then?
Then why
Or at
are
least
you
say
here?
that. Why are you here?